Coquitlam-Malardville.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I am pleased to rise in this House and participate in this debate to call on the government to implement reforms to take big money out of politics. And I'm pleased to respond to the member opposite, mostly because in her remarks she commented on the rules that exist, but everyone calls it the Wild West out here. So someone would think of it as we have good rules in place, we have real structure in place, but everybody else, in fact, 86% of British Columbians, Honourable Speaker, believe that it's the Wild West, that anything goes. So, Honourable Speaker, I prefer to represent my constituents as a member here in this chamber. I represent the people of Coquitlam-Malardville, and I've been hearing, Honourable Speaker, that they are sick and tired of big money in politics. In all levels of politics, Honourable Speaker, we know that the federal government has taken that out. You no longer can accept union and corporate donations. They have made the right choice. And I want to speak for a moment, Mr. Speaker, about local government, because I come from local government, and I have been the spokesperson on this side of the House for local government, and I have been the deputy chair of the Special Committee on Local Election Finance Reform. So, Honourable Speaker, I believe I'm in a unique position, having heard from British Columbians, having served on local government, having listened to my constituents in Coquitlam-Malardville, and listened to what they have to say about big money in politics. And even at the local level, let's not even talk about the provincial level, let's talk about the local level. There are certainly many people who have cried out in disgust and despair about the power that big money has at local elections. We've witnessed certainly big corporate donations, for example, in Sechelt, where a single developer gave the mayor, the standing mayor, a $20,000 donation for his campaign. Now, in a small community of under 10,000 people, that was a significant donation. And there was an outcry in that community, Honourable Speaker. They were disgusted by it. This is a developer. The local government would be making decisions about whether or not he could build a condo in that community, and people were afraid and angry that this was permitted. Let's talk about Vancouver, Honourable Speaker. In Vancouver, we saw an NPA contribution made by Rob McDonald. He contributed the infamous $960,000 in an election campaign in 2011. People were outraged. $1 million? $1 million? You know what, Honourable Speaker? You could buy an election with $1 million. That is unacceptable. And let's say it was a private. Let's say he wrote a check. That would still be unacceptable. People know intuitively that being able to write that kind of a check is inappropriate. It's unfair, and it's an imbalance of power. So, Honourable Speaker, when we talk about big money, and we hear from members on the other side who defend the existing rules, think that it's okay, I'm actually quite shocked. I'm quite shocked that we're not really paying attention to what we're hearing from British Columbians. When 86% of British Columbians say that they want big money out of elections, they are talking about both provincial and local elections, Honourable Speaker. They are not talking about which side of the House. They don't care whether it's that side of the House or this side of the House or the independent member. They really don't care. They are saying to us, to all members of this House, it's time to get big money out of politics. They don't care what your political stripe is. They don't care if you're Green Party, BC Liberal, Conservative Party. They want it out, Honourable Speaker, and I think it's our duty as members of this House to listen to those voices and to act. And it is with that, Honourable Speaker, that I am pleased to take my position here in this House, asking government to do that, to listen to British Columbians, to take big money out of local and provincial politics. It's the right thing to do. I do know that the independent member and other members of this House have brought forward private members' bills asking for just that. They have gone nowhere, Honourable Speaker. I have made amendments in various pieces of legislation asking government to consider taking putting a limit on donations or banning union and corporate donations, and in the case of Vancouver, at least allowing the City of Vancouver the opportunity to do that should they so wish. And each and every time, Honourable Speaker, it doesn't go anywhere. So I do think it's incumbent among all of us to represent British Columbians, to listen to their voices. 86%, Honourable Speaker, are saying, we do not want big money in politics. It's time to end it now. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.